grandfather called and he said, I know what's going on with this story. And I said, what's going on? He said, well, my neighbor, I don't know if I should say this, but my neighbor knows his neighbor in Florida. And apparently he's been boinking the babysitter. This is a Sunny Side Up exclusive from my grandfather.
Oh my God.
So that's pretty interesting. I don't know if it's true, but that's an interesting way of looking at it.
Do you think he's having an affair?
You know what? I read that he's so concerned about his public image that he doesn't want to show his face because it'll be the lasting impression that everyone will remember from him. So that's why he's staying away from the public. So if you had a car crash, you wouldn't really care about your public image. You just crashed your car by accident.
Yeah,
Big
and why
deal.
would it be so embarrassing and obviously humiliating to his family?
It's just kind of too good to be made up. And I was looking at the coverage, and they don't just have like CNN there and I don't know, like Perez Hilton or someone stupid that just covers celebrity gossip. They had like the Golf Channel there. Like this was the main news on the Golf Channel. So anyone who was watching the Golf Channel got like a full heap load of news from Tiger's house.
Do you think he handled the media well, though?
You know, I don't know. If he is having an affair, he probably doesn't want to talk about it. So if I was having an affair, I wouldn't talk about it either.
Yeah.
Who knows? He could have went to ashleymadison.com and found someone online. So,
oh, nice.
And then it's private. Then no one would ever find out. Anyways, we have a story about French in Quebec. A PQ president, Jonathan Valois, is complaining that he can't buy a bagel in French in Montreal, and it bugs him. Oh, God, that sucks. This is on the heels of the PQ convention that just happened this past weekend. And during that weekend conference, party leader Pauline Marois said that French is dying in Montreal. It's on the retreat. And what she's trying to do, she's trying to limit immigrants from going to English CJEPs. So before she said you can't go to English high schools or go to English elementary schools because your parents or your siblings haven't gone to English high school or any education in English. So you have to go to French. But now she wants to extend it all the way to CJEP. Because right now, if you're French and you went to French all your life, you can go to an English CJEP, which is what a lot of people do. Because if you want to move outside of Quebec, you need to know some English.
Yeah.
So they want to learn, but she wants to stop it. That's one of her goals, and it's scary. And I was talking to someone the other day, and they were saying, they were like taking the complete positive angle of this. They're like, well, think about it this way. We're letting immigrants into Quebec and we're letting them speak our prized language. This is a language we're trying to protect. So we want them to learn our prized language. We want them to be part of our heritage. And he's like, we shouldn't look at this situation as, oh, they're trying to stop people. They're just inviting people and helping them embrace our culture that we love so much, quote unquote. So I don't know. What do you think about this?
I think people should have the choice. Why they should have the choice to choose whether they want to study in English or French. Why should that be taken away from them?
Well, because I mean, it is a difficult situation because French is one of the two official languages in Canada and part of Quebec. And it's one of the first provinces. And
yeah, but if you attend an English college, you have mandatory French classes that you have to take.
Right. I think that's extreme, but I kind of understand making immigrants go to, immigrants whose parents have not attended English school in Quebec to go to French school, because in the way they are protecting the language, and it does work. Those kids, like I went to Marianopolis College, and all the Chinese kids who immigrated from China spoke French perfectly. Their English wasn't so good, but their French was so good. So they've adapted this culture, this language.
Yeah, I think it works for up till high school, but then after high school, I think that's when you have the right to choose what you want to do. Some
people are saying if you talk about CJEP, you're going to start talking about university.
Yeah, I think that's...
And then it's scary. Then it's like you can't study in an English university?
For sure. College is the first step, and then next thing you know, university. Bam, on the wagon. I
think that's like a dangerous path to go down, and I don't think it'll ever pass to go. Because right now they're having another bill that was rejected by the Supreme Court that said... Because there was this whole debate of whether if you go to private school in English for a couple of years, and then you can go to public school in English if you're an immigrant. And the Quebec government was trying to say, no, we're not going to allow them to do that. Went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court says, well, you can say no, but you're not saying it in the right way. You have to redo it because it's too harsh. So the Quebec government has a year to work out that law, which is Bill C-104. But really until then, I don't know. I think it's kind of dangerous to say we're going to extend this French law all the way to CJEP. Mm-hmm. But we have some interesting Twitter news about Quebec. Quebec is not that Twitter is not that popular in Quebec.
No, actually, only 42% of Quebecers know what Twitter is, and of those 42 people,
Twitter,
That's quoi ça?
Hey,
My last name's Lamotang, so I'm allowed.
I'm not, but I don't care.
But only 2% of Quebecers currently have an account or have had one in the past. 2%. That is nothing.
That is so small.
I was really surprised by the low numbers. Twitter is big in the United States, and they help break stories like the Hudson River crash last year and this year. Was it January this year?
No, last year. Well, how could... Oh, yeah, this
January
year.
09, yeah.
Yeah, 09.
So it's going to be a year soon. And Michael Jackson's death. And there just isn't such a use for Twitter like that in Quebec. But it is estimated that 1 in 5 Americans use Twitter. And according to a study by the Pew Internet and American Life Project.
It's just shocking that the States have this, like, they adapted so well to this new medium, like Twitter. It's just so immediate. And then Quebecers is just like, what?
Yeah, but Canada is relatively slow when it comes to adopting new technologies. And Quebec is even more so. So I think the numbers will change, though. I guess maybe this article and our topic coverage of Twitter will maybe increase.
Well, hopefully
Quebec's.
people can join our Twitter account.
How did I know that was coming?
Shameless plug. You can go to our Twitter account at www.twitter.com/sunnysideupcjlo.
Yes, let's raise that 2%.
Yeah, so join Twitter and join us, and you can be our friend. We can talk to each other on Twitter. It'll be so much fun.
Actually, Twitter is the most used word in 2009. It was just released.
Along
with Barack Obama and...
H1N1.
Yeah, shocker.
Which is, yeah, but I guess maybe people don't talk. Maybe it's because it's not a French word. Maybe if you added like an accent aigu somewhere, people would be like, oh, Twitter, j'ai tweeted. Yeah, because, if you added like a French way, because Twitter is kind of a very English word.
Yeah.
And, they have that bird and, like they're tweeting.
Don't they have a Spanish version of Twitter?
El Twitter.
Nice.
No? Yeah,
nice roll of the R. But,
thank you.
No, I forget what it's called. Ellen was making a joke about it. I love Ellen.
Oh, Ellen. She's great.
So another Quebec story.
We're just all about Quebec today.
Yeah. Your driver's license will be suspended for 24 hours if you are caught driving with a blood alcohol level of 0.05 and 0.08. Thanks to a new legislation in the National Assembly. The new drunk driving rule is already instated everywhere else across Canada. So again, we are slow to catch on.
That is pretty surprising, but it's still 0.08 in the States, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
So you can drink more in the States and then drive. I think it's because so many people have died from it, and we're just kind of like, it's enough already.
I think this is good that they're starting it from 0.05. Do you think it'll help deter people from drinking and driving?
I don't know, because I don't know what 0.05 translates to in terms of, how many beers is that? And
you
can't even say because it's how big you are.
I felt that like one glass of wine or one cocktail is it. If you're planning on driving, I just think one is the limit.
I think that's a fair rule.
I think so.
I think if you're going out to drink, you shouldn't be the one driving.
Absolutely.
Just if you have that in mind.
Yeah. Especially with the holidays coming up and there's so many Christmas parties and people.
And they have Nez Rouge, which you can go and they pick you up and drop you back off at home. Like a great service.
Yeah.
So you really shouldn't be drinking and driving at all. I don't even know if you should be drinking, like having one drink.
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of like, maybe I'm not a hardcore drinker.
No, me neither, but maybe over a whole evening, if you have, let's say, you sip on one glass of wine throughout the whole thing, I don't think that's, drastic in any way. But, I don't know. I hope this new legislation will help the...
Hopefully, because there's also different problems with driving now. There's street racing and all those crazy things. This summer, there was, like, car surfing.
What?
Do you remember? This summer, they had stories about kids in Dollard and Laval that were going on top of the car on the trunk and then surfing while someone was driving in the front seat, literally putting their arms in the air and surfing, like doing hanging 10 off the back of the trunk. And then they'd fall off and hit their head and go into concussion or die. Like people have died. Or I think one 33-year-old man fell off the front of the car because the car stopped abruptly and got run over by the car.
Oh my.
So, I think alcohol or not, people are going to do stupid things, but I think it's a great legislation and we should really appreciate what's going on with that.
And now we're going to play you a song from the Broadway musical Spring Awakening.
Woo! And right when we come back, we're going to have actress Carly Street, who is going to talk about educating Rita playing at the Siegel Center. So we're going to be right back with that. But here is Spring Awakening.
There's a moment,